Welcome to Choo. I'm Jacob, and here in South Australia, it's that time of year again, springtime, which also means onion weed time. If you haven't already, I'd check out my last onion weed video. In that video, basically, I explained that onion weed is an allium, so it's basically related to leeks, onions, garlic, and all of that. So it's perfectly edible, grows everywhere, actually quite nutritious, very delicious, and also it's a pest. Let's eat it. Oniony. Who would have thought? French onion soup is pretty straightforward. Well, that being said, I've eaten a fair bit of it, never made it myself, so this is a first time for me, so take this video with a grain of salt. But it's a very simple soup made from onions, stock, a little bit of flour, maybe some spice if you want, with some toast on top. It's fucking simple, but it's good, and it's a good entree, it's a good starter. Every part of the onion weed is edible, from the flowers, to the stem, to the bulbs. And the bulbs are what we're going to be using mostly today, to the stem, and then we'll garnish with the flowers. First of all, wash all your shit. Now you can peel these if you want. These are quite small, they're still a bit young, but they don't get much bigger than this actually. You can peel them if you want, but the skin on the bulb is so soft. And if you're like me and haven't learned how to do the fancy chef chopping thing, I just smash it all up, you're good to go. So I've given it a quick fry. I'm going to cover it and that'll bring the juices out and soften up those onions, the onion weed. Then we're going to slowly caramelize them, maybe adding a bit of sugar, see how we go. So most people would say you should use a Dutch oven, which means something different where I'm from, but I don't have one. So I'm just going to use this frying pan. Don't at me, this is not traditional. I'm using onion weed for Christ's sake. But, you know, this gets the job done. Not everyone has every little kitchen thing. This is a simple solution. It's not traditional, but you would barely notice a difference, I imagine. So I'm doing a pretty small batch today, so this only took about 20-25 minutes. If you were cooking for more than one person, not in a shitty demonstration video, that would probably take about 40 minutes on a low heat. If it gets too brown, turn it down. That's the rules, bro. Nice and brown, not burnt, perfectly caramelized. Now it's not stuck to the pan because I'm not using a Dutch oven, but wine is also good. Use a dry wine because we've already got sugar and stuff in there. Dry wine, good. Bit of black pepper. Now most recipes call for a beef stock. I'm using a veggie stock because I didn't have any beef stock. You could make this thing vegan if you want. Just swap out the cheese or the butter and the stock and you're good to go. This is not vegan, but it is vegetarian. This is one of those meals that just looks like shit. Like that looks like diarrhea because it's just brown onion and slop, right? It's not the most attractive meal, but it is super delicious. It's a little bit salty, a little bit sweet because of the caramelization, and then yeah, you got a little bit of cheese and bread on top. Again, it's very simple, but sometimes the simplest things in life can be the tastiest because you just have that, you can appreciate the subtleties. Looks like diarrhea though. I'm just gonna add a little bit of thyme. You can add really whatever you want. I'm not a purist. I'm gonna let that simmer for about, I don't know, 15, 20, at least one more glass of this incredibly cheap piss. Now, I've said it in a previous video, and honestly, I've cooked with, you don't want to use absolute trash, but I think, I don't know, I can't tell the difference between a really fancy wine in there or a really cheap wine. We are in South Australia, so we're a little bit spoiled. Even our lower end wines are quite good. You can, you know, what someone would pay a lot more 3 times for up north or overseas even, we can get for, you know, a third of that price. Still, I'm not putting like a 20, 30, 40, $100 bottle of wine in there. I think this shit, I'm not going to say what it was. Actually, it's not too bad. It's pretty bad. It's okay. It's shit. So I've got a couple of teaspoons of plain flour and some warm water, which I stirred thoroughly. That'll remove any lumps before adding it to the thing, which I'm going to do now, and that'll help thicken the sauce. So what a lot of people do with a French onion soup is you would toast your bread, put the cheese on it, put it in an oven-proof bowl, throw it in the oven and melt the cheese in the oven. I'm only making a small batch. I don't have a oven-proof bowl that small, so I'm not going to do that. So the cheap alternative is toast your bread, throw it in, chuck it in afterwards. It's not quite the same, but you can get away with it if you can't be fucked doing that extra process, or you simply don't have the gear, man. Yep. Yes. Ooh, hot. I used extra strong Romano. Usually you'd probably go for a Gouda or something else. Mozzarella, some people say. A Gruyere, however you say that French shit. Something that melts a bit easier, but I like it punchy and strong. So again, It's not traditional, but it is delicious. Garnished with the flowers, with the bread. That's a sourdough. You probably want French bread. It's not very French onion soup. Oh, it's so good. Thanks for watching Choo. Leave a comment below and let's get a friendly discussion going. I love using what I have at hand. Different seasons provide us with different types of food for free in your backyard. You just gotta be brave enough to go and try it. I mean, at the end of the day, it's no different. In some parts of the world, they grow this and you can buy it at the supermarket. It's only a weed when it's not from your local area. Weed has this negative connotation, but at the end of the day, it's just food.